Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today, inshallah, we'll start from ayah number 37. Okay. And from here, it starts with the description of the Day of Judgment and the different punishments that will be given to, or the punishment that will be given to the criminals. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. The meaning of this is فإذا انشقت السماء, when the sky will be split asunder, when the sky will be split open. فكانت وردة, and it will become rosy, it will become extremely red. كالدهان, like red hide. This is how it will look like on the Day of Judgment. فكانت وردة, warda means rose. It will become rosy, become that color. كالدهان, like red hide. السماء, over here you do maddi muttasil, you stretch it. فكانت وردة, وردة, you will apply the rule of ikhfa over here. وردة كالدهان. Let's break it into two parts. The eye is kind of long. فإذا انشقت السماء فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. فكانت وردة كالدهان. فكانت وردة كالدهان. فكانت وردة كالدهان. فإذا انشقت السماء فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. فكانت وردة كالدهان. Let's read the whole ayah. فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Next ayah we would also break it into two. فيومئذ لا يسأل فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه. Again you do إخفاء over here. عن ذنبه. No إظهار but إخفاء. عن ذنبه. عن ذنبه. إنس ولا جان. إنس ولا جان. The meaning of this is فيومئذ, and that day no human being or jinn will be asked concerning his crime or concerning his sin. فيومئذ, and that day, يوم, day, إذن, that, لا يسأل, would not be questioned, عن ذنبه, concerning his sin, insun, a human being, ولا جان, nor a jinn. So on that day, no human being or jinn will be asked about his sin. Why? Because everything will be recorded. He will not have to say anything because his own limbs would testify against him. Okay, and also the next ayah explains it as well, that they will be recognized by their marks. Okay, so there will be no need for him to testify or say anything. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ إِنسٌ وَلَا جَانٌ. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه إنس ولا جان. فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه إنس ولا جان
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 فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
So which of the favors of your Lord do you two deny? Next ayah, ayah number 41. يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم
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 فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام The meaning is يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم. The criminals will be recognized by their marks. يعرف, recognize, المجرمون, the criminals, بسيماهم, by their marks. فيؤخذ, and then they will be taken, they will be seized, بالنواسي, by their foreheads, by the forelocks, والأقدام, and the feet. They will be taken in this manner by the angels and then thrown into hellfire. So يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم, the criminals will be recognized by their marks. And this is the reason why there won't be any need to ask them about their crime. They will be known just by their marks. Just like how the believers, they will be recognized by their marks as well. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came to Al-Baqi, and he told the Sahaba, I wish if I could see my brothers. So the Sahaba said, aren't we your brothers? So Rasulullah said, Antum ashabi, you are my companions. But my brothers are those who have believed in me, but have not yet seen me. So then the Sahaba asked, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, how would you be able to recognize your followers on the Day of Judgment? And then the Prophet ﷺ explained it to them through a parable. He said, what if there is a person who has animals that are all of one color, horses that are all of one color, and in the middle of these animals, there are some horses that have some white hair on their foreheads and on their limbs. Would he not be able to recognize these horses from the others? Wouldn't he be able to tell them apart? And the Sahaba said yes. So Rasulullah said, similarly on the Day of Judgment, إِنَّ أُمَّتِي يُدْعَوْنَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ غُرًّا مُحَجِّلِينَ مِنْ آثَارِ الْوُضُوءِ. Because of the effect of wudu, my ummah will be called غُرًّا مُحَجِّلِينَ, that their foreheads and their hands and feet, it will be shining bright because of the effect of wudu. And this is how I will be able to recognize and distinguish my followers from the followers of the other Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. So يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُم. The criminals, they will be recognized by their marks, okay, that their faces will be dark, whereas the believers, because of the effect of wudu, it will be shining bright. Let's read the ayah again. يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُم يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُم يُعْرَفُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ بِسِيمَاهُم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام. Let's read the whole ayah. يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام
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 فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
هذه جهنم التي
هذه جهنم التي
هذه جهنم التي
هذه جهنم التي
يكذب بها المجرمون
يكذب بها المجرمون
يكذب بها المجرمون
يكذب بها المجرمون.
The meaning is هذه, this is Jahannam, hellfire, التي which يكذب بها المجرمون, that the mujrimun, the criminals, used to reject and deny or belie. هذه جهنم, this is hellfire, التي which يكذب بها المجرمون, which the criminals used to deny. هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون
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 Next ayah. يطوفون بينها
يطوفون بينها
يطوفون بينها
يطوفون بينها
يطوفون بينها
يطوفون بينها
وبين حميم آن
وبين حميم آن
وبين حميم آن
وبين حميم آن.
The meaning of this is يطوفون, they will circle or they will go بينها, between it, it meaning hellfire. The pronoun goes back to Jahannam. يطوفون بينها, they will go between it وبين حميم آن, and between fierce boiling water. Okay, Hamim means boiling water. An means, again, it's another adjective. An, fierce. Hamim, boiling water. A close friend in Arabic is also called Hamim, and the reason for it is because when he hears something bad about his friend, he boils up in order to defend him. Hamim, and Hamim also means boiling water. And An is another adjective. So they will go between it, hellfire, and between boiling water. It is said that these are the the punishments. So they will be in hellfire, and then when they will get thirsty, they will like to drink the water, and they will come close to it. When they come close to it, they're about to drink it, it will be so hot and so fierce that it would just burn their inside. So they will try to drink it, they will want to drink it, but then they will put it down and they will go back. And then again they will want to drink. So they will be going back and forth, back and forth. يَطُوفُونَ بَيْنَهَا وَبَيْنَ حَمِيمٍ آن, the different punishments. يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن 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 فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان Okay, now from here onwards to the end of the surah, there is now the description of Jannah. And this is how usually in the Quran, when there is a description of Jahannam, then immediately after there is a description of Jannah. When he talks about the criminals, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about the dwellers of Jannah. And so there's always, both giving you glad tidings and also giving you warning. And this is also the role of the prophets, Mubashirin or Mundhirin, that they give you glad tidings, but at the same time they also warn you of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And over here, there's actually a description of, you can say, 4 gardens. Okay? لِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّةً. The one who fears his Lord, or the standing before his Lord, will have 2 gardens. And the description that is given is actually, scholars have said, is more elegant and more beautiful than the other 2 gardens. Obviously, Jannah is paradise, but then you have as-sabiqun as-sabiqun, those who are ahead of everyone. Okay? The elite of the elite. So they will have these 2 gardens. And then you have those ashabul yamin, the people of the right hand. Okay? The average believers who do the minimum that is required of them. For them will be the other 2 gardens, which is وَمِن دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ. And if you see, and you compare, if you really look deep into it, scholars have said the description of the first 2 gardens, it is more beautiful than the other 2 gardens. And the description of the other 2 gardens, they start from ayah number 62. وَمِن دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ. And besides these 2 gardens, jannatan, there will be 2 more gardens. Dunihima can also mean below these 2 gardens, dunihima, below these 2 gardens will be 2 more gardens. Okay? So, and let's try to compare, inshallah, with just a few ayahs. We're not going to finish the whole surah today, obviously, but we will just compare the first 2. Okay, let's read ayah number 46. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. And the meaning of this is وَلِمَنْ خَافَ. And for the one who fears مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ, the standing before his Lord, would have 2 gardens. The one who fears standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment would have 2 gardens. Maqam Rabbihi could have 2 meanings, and both of them are correct interpretations. Maqam Rabbihi, who fears the maqam of his Lord. Okay, we also use this word in Urdu, maqam, the station, the status. One who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who he is would have 2 gardens. Or another one is maqam Rabbihi, the one who fears the standing before his Lord will have 2 gardens. Both of that is correct. Yes. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So, for the one who fears the standing before his Lord will have 2 gardens, and on the bottom, وَمِن دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ, besides them are 2 more gardens. Now let's move on to the next ayah. ذَوَاتَا أَفْنَانٍ ذَوَاتَا أَفْنَانٍ ذَوَاتَا أَفْنَانٍ. And the meaning of that is having many branches. Okay, the branches will be spreading. And the description of the other gardens is mudhammatan, dark green in color. Now if a person was to just read this, it would seem like, no, the other description is better. Mudhammatan, dark green in color. When you think about Jannah and gardens, you think about flowers and green and things like this. No one describes garden by talking about the roots of the tree or the trunk of the tree or the branches. You talk more about the leaves and the greenery and the fruits and things of this nature. Okay, so how is this a better description than the other one? It seems like mudhammatan is a better description. Okay, dhawat afnan, you see? But scholars have said that no, over here the description is undescribable. Okay, it is undescribable. Forget about the fruits and the leaves and everything else. Even the branches are like this. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you a description of that. To understand this a little bit better, it is like, suppose you see something, okay, just to give you a random example, you go to a hotel and you don't even know how to describe it. And you're like, forget about the hotel, forget about the, everything, the rooms and, the beds and everything. Even the buttons on the elevator were like this. So you don't even know how to describe anything. You just go into the details. Okay, or just like you're describing a car, you don't know how to describe the car, and you start talking about the rims or something that is very detailed. You don't even know how to describe anything else. So the same thing over here. Dhawat afnan. Forget about everything else. Think about the branches and the trunks of the tree. And we see that when you move on to the next ayah. Okay, so dhawat afnan, having many branches. And mudhammatan means dark green in color. Okay, let's read the ayah again. ذوات أفنان ذوات أفنان ذوات أفنان ذوات أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان Next ayah. فيهما عينان تجريان فيهما عينان تجريان It means فيهما, in them two, in those two gardens, عينان will be springs, two springs, تجريان, that will be flowing. And you compare this to the other two gardens. فِيهِمَا عَيْنَانِ نَضَّاخَتَانِ In those two gardens will be two springs, نَضَّاخَتَانِ, they will be gushing forth. Okay, نَضَّاخَتَانِ is just the natural description of a spring. They gushes forth, it comes out of the ground. Okay, تَجْرِيَانِ, they will be flowing, which is even better. Okay, when it's actually flowing, it is a better description than نَضَّاخَتَانِ. It is a beautiful description, but that's just a normal description of a spring. But تَجْرِيَانِ is even better. فيهما عينان تجريان فيهما عينان تجريان فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان Next ayah. فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان The meaning of this is, in them too would be min kulli fakihatin zawjan, a pair of every type of fruit. Now compare this to the other two gardens. Ayah number 68. فِيهِمَا فَاكِهَةٌ وَنَخْلٌ وَرُمَّانٌ In those two gardens will be fruits. وَنَخْلٌ, date palms, وَرُمَّانٌ, and pomegranates. Now, over there is just giving you the different fruits. That there will be fruits, and it gives you examples. Okay, وَنَخْلٌ وَرُمَّانٌ. Okay, so you have all of these different fruits in paradise. Whatever that exists in this world, you'll be given something similar to it. Obviously, you'll be different in taste and nature, but just the essence will be the same. There will be, an apple or an orange or whatever, a banana. It will be the same. Over here, it says فِيهِمَا مِنْ كُلِّ فَاكِهَةٍ زَوْجَانِ There will be a pair of every type of fruit. Meaning, any fruit that you have many different varieties. So over there, you have all of the fruits in those gardens. Over here, even when you just choose any one fruit, you have many, many varieties. Zawjan just doesn't mean only two types, it means many varieties. So if you have an apple, you have all of the different varieties that you can think of. Bananas, I don't know if he has different varieties, you have all of that. Oranges, you have different varieties. You know, if you just go to any store, you go to Walmart, you'll be surprised that, you know, all of these fruits actually have so many different varieties. You know, apples have so many different varieties. Oranges have so many different varieties. So in the first two gardens, you have fruit, and each one would have many, many different varieties. Where the other two gardens, you will have all of the fruits that are there, but it will not be like this. Okay, let's read the ayah again. فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان We'll stop here today, inshallah. I would like everyone to just go over the meaning, and inshallah, you know, we're going to have again that mental exercise where I'm going to ask you some of the words and see if you can, inshallah, figure out the meaning. And then also I'll give you the Arabic. I'll give you the Arabic and see if you can, you know, remember the meaning in English. And I'll give you the English and see if you can remember the Arabic. Actually, let me just ask you quick questions right now. How do you say fruits? Fakih. How do you say springs? Aynan. Okay. What is the meaning of aqdam? Steps, or in this case, yeah, feet or legs. What is the meaning of wardatan? Become, yes. Okay, inshallah, we'll continue next week. Wa akhu da'wana alhamdulillah.
جزاك الله خير الحمد لله رب العالمين